Jen talking to her parents on Skype and showing concern that she wants to stay in Australia as she's getting really good opportunity to one of the renowned company. She further said, that I'm in search of a good consultant and I'll apply TR through them.
Okay, goodbye mom and dad, I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, take care, dear.
Jess opens her email as soon as calls finishes and she sees a newsletter from Think Higher Consultants, which says free temporary visa application if you get professional year program through Think Higher. She calls to Think Higher and discuss her situation with their qualified counselor. They explained her the benefits of professional year as well as offered her free temporary visa application. They also explained the checklist for temporary visa as well. Jess was so satisfied that she submitted all her documents online and got her temporary residency visa and professional year application done. Contact Think Higher Consultants for resident return visa. We provide personalized and on-spot services leads to permanent visa pathways and Australian citizenship. Facebook/Think Higher Consultants. Twitter/Think Higher House. Instagram/Think Higher Consultants.
Skilled Migration Visa Assistance. Australia is now offering permanent residency status to general skilled migration visa holders. Stay connected with us to get updated information on Skilled Independent Visa, Subclass 189, Skilled Nominated Visa, Subclass 190, Skilled Sponsored Visa, Subclass 491, and Skilled Regional Visa, Subclass 887. Contact Think Higher Consultants at thinkhigher.com.au.
Hello everyone, this is Anil Khwaja. I'm a registered migration agent and co-founder Think Higher Consultants. I'm very excited to bring this series of seminars that includes all the PR pathways based on any occupation you have been wanted to migrate to Australia. Either you're a chef, cook, you're an engineer, you're from an IT professional background, you name it. So we will be doing 4 set of programs every day. So starting from today, we would be discussing about Trade Recognition Australia, occupation normally they assess, and what exactly the procedure are. So before we proceed, we'll take a quick break, and once we're back, we'll start a presentation. Thank you. Welcome back, team. So let's start with the presentation. So first of all, we would be discussing about what are the pathways for the general permanent residency, and then we would be touch base on the Trade Recognition Australia. So as I said earlier, we would be having 4 the series of seminar happening. The first would be on TRA, the second would be on ACS and EA, the third one would be on APRA and NMAC, and the fourth one is for the weight assess. Now TRA is Trade Recognition Australia, where they assess all the trade occupations which are available. Now, if you can see, there are a couple of pathways you can work on. So I'll ask my team to just be a bit patient moving the slides. So first, for these seminar, obviously if you attend this seminar, you would able to get the discounts on the PT portal. Obviously, if you're here in our office, I can see many new faces has came to our office for this seminar. You all be getting a good goodie bags. Then there would be a one-to-one session with me as well. So I'll be discussing your case one by one. Then probably there would be a 25% discount on whole PR process as well. So technically, these all 4 to 5 benefits you would be able to get it. Even though if you were seeing us live or you're not able to present at this seminar, still you would able to get 25% discount on a whole PR process. Also, if you need specific PT portal discount, then feel free to contact my team. More than happy to cater that one. We have 3 more seminars back to back on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you have missed this one, the TRA one, we would be putting the recording here. But any case, if you have missed this one, then you can come to the next seminar. More than happy to take you, and then we can discuss one-to-one about your current scenarios. The only thing, the rule for obviously this session, along with the other seminars, that we need to stick with the topic. So if you are belongs to a trade occupation, then you have to be on a TRA seminar. If you are a manager or based on some managerial position, or you are an officer or something, or related to VETAS's skill assessment, then you should come to the Friday for a one-to-one consultation as well. Your question needs to be more specific in the session first, then you will be answer your questions at the end. So we'll try to take a Q&A session at the end of this seminar rather than we just barge in between, because there's no point of just we wanted to go with the flow. So if you lose the track, then it's going to be the no point of specifically doing the TRA seminar today. And you need to answer the questions. If we do have a quiz session as well, I'll be asking a couple of questions. If you're able to answer, put it on the comment box. We would be jotting down your name. My team is quite efficient, and then we would be sending you the goodie bags to your addresses. So we'll be in touch. Then obviously there is a big lucky winner prize as well. So if you join us and you'll be part of this session, and then we'll do a lucky draw by end of the 4th day, most probably on Friday, and who would be the lucky winner will get one of the prizes, which is we haven't disclosed that one. We wanted you to join us all 4 days in order to know about that grand prize. All right, so let's start with this session. So main skill assessment already, as we have already spoken. So I think I'll quickly run to this one. TRA is Trade Recognition Australia, EA is Engineers Australia. So those who belongs to engineering background, or they wanted to get their skills or qualification assessment, we normally go to EA. Then ACS is for all IT professionals, as the name said, Australian Computer Society. NMAC is for nurses and health professions, and VETAS is for vocational education training assessment provider, which covers most of the managerial positions, especially customer services manager, retails manager, occupational, and there are heaps of. So you name it. So VETAS covers lots of occupations, and obviously on the 4th day we'll be discussing that in detail. Now let's go to the next slide. So Australian visa programs. So generally you have seen these subclasses. So these are the programs you can apply based on your skills. So that's generally we call the General Skill Migration Program. So if you can see, the subclasses are 189, 190, 191. Then you have student visa program that leads to also the permanent residency. So if you're not skillful, then you can do a student visa, get here, study, and then apply for the permanent residency pathways. Then there is an employer migration program, that is 482 and 186. 494 has been a regional sponsorship. So it used to be 187, now they have changed it to 494. Family program, partner visas, then you have investors, business visas as well, 188132. So predominantly we would be discussing more on a general skill migration, because that's the skill assessment leads to general skill program mainly, or you can go with the employer migration program. So these are the two important pathways you have it. Once you started, following the skill assessment process, and then obviously you can take either of these pathways. Now, these are the common options for PR. If you have done a student visa, then you can apply for graduate visa, training visa, sponsorship 482. Now, direct entry, those who are offshore can apply directly GSM. That's 189190491. We already discussed. Then you have employer permanent visa 186. You can also go with the partner visa, regional sponsor visa. So these last four ones, along with this sponsorship visa 482, that covers the offshore applicants, those who wanted to apply based on their skills. So these are the common pathways. Now we will quickly go for a quick video. This is a journey video for the Think Higher. We're proud of what we have been doing for last many years. So I wanted to watch this one, and once we are back, then we'll discussing about the TRA process, how to work out on that. Yeah. Welcome back. viewers. Exciting journey so far. It's been 6 years now, and mashallah, we've been doing really well so far. And I'm so proud of my team. We started with a single person, single handedly doing all the migration stuff, and now we have more than 30 plus staff in Pakistan as well as in Melbourne office. So let's start the TRA now. So the team, if you can put up the slides. Okay, so Trade Recognition Australia, obviously one of the bodies who does the skill assessment for trade occupations. Uh, Now, if we go to the next slide, just give me a sec. So Trade Recognition Australia, as we said, it's for those who wanted to get their skill assessment done or qualification assessment done either offshore or onshore, overseas or in Australia. Purpose of migration, they can apply through Trade Recognition Australia. Now, skill assessment program by TRA. There are 4 different streams for TRA. One is the most common one, which is called the Job Ready program. So those who are studying in Australia, they are eligible to apply for a Job Ready program. Now, since from 1st July, the good and the one of the good news is that you don't need to apply for provisional skill assessment. So that requires a 360 hours of experience before enrolling into the Job Ready program, which is no longer needed. So exciting news. We would be discussing on that one as well. Team, if you can go to the back slide a bit. Back. Yeah. So the second option, second stream is called the TSS. That's the temporary skills shortage. So for instance, you're applying for a 482 visa, generally you require a TSS skill assessment. For that, TRA also helps you out getting, occupation to be assessed. They are specific for the nominated countries. So no, not all country requires TSS skill assessment. So you need to check the guidelines and the table of whether you are eligible or you have to get the TSS skill assessment based on your profile, especially your skills and the country profile. Now, the stream is the offshore skill assessment program that is called the OSAP. For skill migration, that's excluding 485 TSS. We already spoken about this one. You need to be in a specific country and a passport in order to apply for this program. And also it can be onshore, offshore. So they have 2 pathways within this one, pathway A and pathway 2. Pathway A is for those who have got the Australian qualification, and pathway B is for non-AQF. Then there is a 4th one that's called the MSA. That is for the remaining people who won't fall under the nominated country list. They can all apply for migration and skill assessment MSA. We have done heaps of these ones, especially for our Pakistani clients. And I believe that after this seminar, you would able to understand which pathway is most probably the best pathway for you in order to get the trade assessment done. Now, program 1, Job Ready program. So the first we already discussed is assessment program for international students who have studied in Australia, and they are working in the nominated occupation. So that provides the skill assessment pathway towards 189, 491, and 190. Now, for the JRP from the 1st July 2022, there are 4 steps. You obviously need to register and meet the eligibility criteria. It means that you must have an employer who can continue your JRP program with TRA. Then, obviously, there's a job ready employment that is also a part of the first step. So, first 1A and 1B are pretty much JRPE, and JRE is pretty much the same thing. You need to first register, and then you need to find an employer who can work out the JRP with you. Now, the third stage is called the work assessment. So during the JRP program, the TRA will come down to your place, or they can even do an virtual test with you during the work you're doing in your workplace, or they may ask you to come down to some specific workplace in order to show them what exactly you've learned during the program. So it's a very important phase of this program. And as soon as you pass, then once you finish your 1760 hours, you'll get a final assessment from TRA. That letter needs to be submitted to Department of Home Affairs when you're applying for a permanent pathway program. So this is how it works. Now let's more dig into the step one and step two. So JRP, the successful JRE outcome makes you eligible, as we already spoken. The minimum eligibility is you must have hold a passport. So without an ID, they won't be able to enroll you. Then you must have held a student visa. If you're not on a student visa, you can still do it. You can do it on a TR as well. So you need to study. So it's not just it's written or, so it means that you can have another visa as well. So it's not just a student visa, you can do it on a TR as well, 485, or any other visa which has the full working rights. So generally they ask you to have a full working rights. Normally my lots of clients have done it on 457, now it's 482. So they also are doing on this one, even though few of the people are also doing on a 408. So it depends on which visa you are, so you can enroll yourself there. And then obviously you must need to study into the relevant occupation, and it needs to be a CRIC course approved. So your qualification, no matter you doing an RPL, it needs to be a CRIC course approved RPL. And plus you need to at least study minimum course for 6 months. Generally what happens, like I'll give you a case study where people like we have lots of clients who are chefs and cook. They normally do an RPL for certificate 3 for a year, and then they do a 6 months of certificate 4, they study. So generally they get both qualifications in 6 months time rather than studying for 1.5 years. So that's the quickest pathway you can take it in order to enroll into the job ready program employment. Now job ready employment, second step is JRE, is to, as I said, that you need to register. So once you successfully register, as I told you, you must need to have a full working rights. So this is a part of the first step as well. So technically you must have a full working rights, and minimum needs to be for 12 months. So for say if your visa is left for 5 or 6 months, say 485, you won't be able to do this JRP. So you must need to have a 12 months full-time work rights. Then the third one is you must need to have an eligible employment. So once your employer register with TRA, they double check it and then they give you a final approval in order to work out on your JRP program. Now employment requires 725 hours. That's the precise one. I normally ask my clients to do at least 10-20 hours more. So generally 1760 I normally give the threshold, but technically you can do 1725 hours. You can also claim up to 3 months prior employment. So for instance, sorry, if you have done 3 months prior employment and you haven't registered yourself for JRE, you can still claim that 3 months experience. It won't go into vain. So that's the best part. You obviously need to get JRP, that's called the verification form. Now it's called EVR. So this form needs to be filled by your employer, needs to be submitted, and every quarter you need to also give a progress skill report. So we'll take a small break. After break, we'll discuss about the further All right, welcome back, guys. So we were discussing about the JRP stage 2. Team, if you can put the slides on as well. Okay, good. So if you can see that you need to have 1725 hours. So I'll just repeat the bit. So at least those who have recently joined us, they would understand what we were trying to, give the information here. So you must need to complete at least 1724 hours in the 12 months time. You can go up to beyond 12 months as well. So that's not very much strictly being followed by the TRA. You also need to, you can claim 3 months prior employment. Then there is the two forms, EVF and progress skill report, SPR. It needs to be submitted to the TRA during their process. So they normally email you, and then you have to just upload those documents onto their portal. So let's go to the next slide. Now, job ready work assessment. So work assessment is when you have finished at least 863 hours. That's half of what you need to require to finish in the 12 months time. Then again, quarterly SPR reports, EVR reports need to be submitted, and then you must need to attach the evidences that you have worked there, like pay slips, your bank statements. Pay slips will do. Sometimes if you're a self-employed, then obviously you need to put the bank statements and invoices. Work-based assessment, as I already spoken about, this one can be online or at your workplace. They won't come straight away, they don't barge in, they will give you an email, they will take proper appointment with your employer before coming and visit to your place to conduct this JRWA. And they will then definitely speak to your employer. So your employer and yourself both needs to be at the workplace at the time of assessment. They'll ask you a few questions, ask you to do a few of the possible work. Say if you're a plumber, they will ask you to do some plumbing stuff. If you're a chef, then they'll ask you to cut or do something, or they may sometimes do ask you where is the cool room. So if you have worked there, you should know where exactly the cool room is, and then pretty much same for the painting and decorating. So this is how it works, and there are heaps of other occupations where you can assess. So mainly these three, four, we have lots of clients, so that's why I'm just referring to these two, three occupations. Now the final stage is called the job ready final assessment. So job ready final assessment is the last step. Once you finish your 1725 hours, then you can apply for this one. There's a fee for this one. You pay fees to every step. Once you pay this one, they double check each and everything, and then they give you a final outcome letter that can be used in order to apply for the permanent residency. So this is the whole 1 year rigorous process you need to follow in order to get the final outcome. Now, let's start with the program 2. If you have any questions, audience, and you wanted to ask, feel free to ask, because I'm more than happy to take questions in between. I might be answering you by end of the slides. But again, if you have any question in top of your mind, you can put it in the comment box. I'm more than happy to take it. All right. So let's start with program 2. So program 2 skill assessment is for the applicants who require skill assessment to apply for 482. Okay, and sometimes it's for generally you don't require at the time of lodgement of 482, but the case officer may ask you for to submit at the time of the grant. The pathway 1 is who do not hold Australian qualification, so you need to get the TSS done. Pathway 2 is for those who have done Australian qualification and they currently required an occupational license. So generally TSS skill assessment are for the licensed occupations, but non-licensed occupations are also part of this pathway. So once you get the outcome, you will get the OTSR record that can be used for the occupation, licensed occupations, those who require registration, and also an AKUF qualification, say Cert 3, Cert 4 diploma based on which occupation you are. Generally, they give you for this one for non-licensed occupations, whereas for licensed occupation, they issue the OTSR along with the qualification. So you get both together. Now, program 2 eligibility is quite easy. You minimum require 6 years of work experience if you're licensed trade with no formal training. Licensed trade with formal training, 4 years work experience. So say if you show that you have been a trainee in a licensed trade, then they will reduce 2 years of your work experience. in order to assess that one. Non-licensed again require 5 years, and non-licensed trade require, with the formal training, say you have done a formal training in a workplace, then you need to show 3 years of work experience. That leads to a TSS skill assessment. uh, can get it quite easily if you meet these ones. Now there is another requirement that you must have to work at least 12 months full-time employment in your nominated occupation in last 3 years prior to lodging your application. So for instance, if you have worked 12 months in last 3 years, it has to be full-time. You can segregate your total duration of 12 months into 3 months, 4 months, 3 months, something like that. But it has to be altogether 12 months in last 3 years. Now, obviously, you need to check your country of passport in order to eligible for TSS. If you're not a part of the eligible country, then generally don't require that one. Then you need to just email or explain to the case officer that your occupation don't require any TSS skill assessment. Now, this is the list which we were referring to, especially for the nominated countries. So you can see for automotive, say if you're from Fiji, Hong Kong, India, Philippines, South Africa, Thailand, you require the skill assessment. Baker, cabinet. So these are all occupations that require the TSS skill assessment if you belongs to these countries. So if somebody is from Pakistan and they are a diesel motor mechanic, they don't require TSS skill assessment, because generally TRA don't do for these. So if you belong to these countries, then generally the 482 case officer will ask you for TSS skill assessment. Okay. So this is always a big list. You can follow that one. Now let's go to this program 3. The program 3 is, again, we spoken about this earlier. One pathway is if you do not hold an Australian qualification, whereas the other pathway is you hold a Australian qualification or you have an Australian work license. Once you go with the pathway 1, you would able to get again the OTSR similar to the one you were getting for the TSS skill assessment. And for AQF qualification, non-license occupation, you'll get pretty much the same thing. Okay, so pretty much the same scenarios and everything is pretty much the same. So we don't need to bother much about the stage 2 and the stage 3 is pretty much the same thing. Now for the program 4, it's migration skill assessment, which most of the people do fall under. Now we have recently done one of the MSF for auto mechanic. He did the job ready program, but unfortunately he wasn't able to apply for PR. Then he worked for again 2 more years. It altogether was 3 years, and he was able to apply for migration skill assessment because he cannot do the job ready program on a student visa. So technically, at the end he got the student visa, so he wasn't able to go with the job ready program. So he has to go with the MSA, and we successfully done it. So eligibility criteria is pretty easier. You need to be you have a qualification directly based on a nominated occupation. You must have an Australian qualification and a 3 years of full-time post-study experience. So it has to be post-study. Okay. For those having Australian qualification by RPL, then you must require a 3 years full-time or equivalent quota. As per the quota, it needs to be 6 years. Okay. So if you're doing a part-time, it has to be 6 years. If it's a full-time, it's 3 years. And it has to be post RPL. These are the requirements for the migration skill assessment. And again, your occupation must be listed in a TRA list as well. So that is very important. Now, if you have any questions regarding a TRA, feel free to put here, because I believe that there are lots of viewers and people who are here. They are from one of the TRA, the occupations. So we can definitely take your questions and answer you. Now, the quiz. So whoever will give the answer for this one will get a goodie bag from us. So how much English scores you require for TRA skill assessment? If you know the answer, put on the comment box. So at least we can choose the winner. So you need to let me know how much English scores you require. You must also need to segregate the modules as well, how much overall and how much you need for each module. So if you have the answer, we will be waiting for you to give that answer. I'll be back in next few seconds. Meanwhile, we'll put this question on the screen. If you have any questions regarding the presentation we have done so far, you can ask that. If not, then we'll be wrapping up this session as soon as I come back. Thank you. Alrighty, so welcome back, audience. I believe I have got few answers, but that was on my WhatsApp, and one of our, the audience have given answer not required. So I'll disclose the answer here. So for the TRA skill assessment, we don't require any English. So pretty smart audience, we have it. Even I've got couple of answers on my phone on the WhatsApp. They have given me the right answer, not required. You'll all be getting a goodie bags from my team. They will be in touch with you. Thanks, Malik, for answering. So I think that's pretty much it. The next our seminar would be on Engineering Australia and ACS. So we would be seeing you tomorrow. Again, I think lots of viewers have recently joined us. If you still have any questions regarding TRA, feel free to ask. I'll take a quick short break again. Once we'll back, we'll again wait for a couple of more minutes to take questions. If not, then we'll wrap up this session for today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ibrad. I received an unfortunate ban of 1 year by Engineers Australia. Then I contacted Think Higher Consultants for a professional advice. They are one of the best consultants in Australia. They were always available to talk, kept me updated on the process. I will highly recommend them. Hello, I'm Ibrad. I received an unfortunate ban of 1 year by Engineers Australia. Then I contacted Think Higher Consultants for a professional advice. They are one of the best consultants in Australia. They were always available to talk, kept me updated on the process. I will highly recommend them.
Hi, this is Siva Santosh. I would like to thank Think Higher on approval on my 491 visa, New South Wales region. Of all the time I was residing in regional New South Wales and they were in Melbourne, and we contacted over the phones and emails and the process went really smooth. A huge shout out to Malik, man, the way you contacted the case officer and getting the nomination approval was really appreciated. So I highly recommend guys, please go and visit Think Higher. Thank you.
All right, guys. So, कोई questions अगर आपको हैं, I can do a bit of the Urdu as well. So, if you have any questions, you can ask me right now. हम answers आपको कर सकते हैं. Any audience around the world, even from Pakistan, India, कोई question है regarding TRA, feel free to ask. If not right now, just put on the comment box. My team will try to answer you as soon as we finish. Thank you so much, team, for joining today. And thank you so much, audiences, sorry, to join us. We also are part of a team, a migration team as well. One of the exciting, okay, before we leave, thank you so much, team, for, reminding me this one before we leave. Exciting, super exciting news for Think Higher. We are now offering admissions and visa services in United Kingdom, UK. So if you are even in Australia, you wanted to move to UK on a student visa, we are more than happy to assist you. So do contact us. We also do admissions, student visa services, postgraduate visa, health insurance. So these four we can definitely help you out. Even though if your friends and family who are in UK wanted to apply for postgraduate visa, I'm more than happy to assist them. Great opportunity for those who wanted to study in UK. It's one of the one of the best study destinations. Lots of people wanted to study in UK, so they can contact us. We are doing lots of reasonable promotional prices, and we can give you huge discounts on consultation as well. So do contact us. We have got one question from Malik. Can if you can put the comment here? Okay, let me. Can we also do MSA instead of OSAP? All right, so it depends, Malik. So OSAP has list of nominated occupations. Okay, so if you are a part of that nominated country, then you have to go with an OSAP. You cannot go with MSA. MSA is for those who are the country. If your passport or country is not from that list, then you can definitely go with the MSA. So this is the difference. Otherwise, you have to go with OSAP. There's no other way around. Any other questions? Hope, Malik, I have answered your query. All right, so let's wrap this up with this great news that we are doing the UK. Feel free to contact us. My team is quite efficient to work out on this UK applications. Thank you so much once again, and we'll see you tomorrow.